Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's follow it together. Today I have a very special guest with me, Mrs. Linda Ford of Little Joel's Academy in Orbezonia, Pennsylvania. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good.
Good.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I know this is it's pretty intimidating being behind the camera.
Very.
But God is good and we're trusting Him to lead us forward today. So help us, Jesus.
Help us now.
All right. So I wanted to ask you a little bit of questions, not to throw you under the bus.
It's all right.
I make that joke because she teaches preschool here and has for how long?
32 years.
32 years. So I wanted to get a little bit of background information. I guess, how did you come to know Jesus?
Well, I grew up in Pogue, the big town of Pogue,
Okay.
and we had a group of friends there. And my family went to church, but I started going to church with my best friend to her church, Calvary Baptist in Saltillo. And I accepted the Lord there during a Sunday school class. My teacher was Ruth Rupert, and I was in 4th grade, and another boy and I decided to accept the Lord, and we did that day. Funny thing about that was, years later, I volunteered at our local nursing home, and one day I went in and I saw a name on the resident board, Ruth Rupert. And guess what? It was her.
Oh, wow.
And we reconnected, and I was able to kind of look after her for the last couple of years of her life. So I thought that was very sweet.
So it was through a friend that you went there. That's really cool. A friend sticks closer than a brother.
A friend loves at all times. We learn here at Little Joel's. So.
That's awesome. So how did you begin teaching? I know that's probably a huge thing, but
well, it was kind of a miracle, I think, because when my children were little, I had 3, and I always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom with them. But I still, wanted to help out with our family income, so I did things from home. I worked for the Daily News for a good many years. I loved that job. I did that from home, and then I worked for the Census Bureau for a few years. But I knew that when my oldest son became a senior, he got accepted to Penn State. And I thought, now I'm going to have to step up a little more, because it's very expensive, and my goal was to put all my children through school and buy them a new car. Pretty lofty goal, but we have not because we asked not. This isn't a word. So I remember one day I was thinking about this, probably worrying, because I admit I am a worrier, and I know we're not to worry, but I struggle with that. And one day I was running the sweeper on my foyer steps, and I prayed, and I said, God, you need to help me now. We were just talking about that, because I'm going to need to do more than these little part-time things. I said, but I want to be here at home with my children as long as, while they're growing up. Seemed like an impossible request, but it wasn't even a week later. I got a phone call from my sister, and she said her neighbor, who had done preschool in her home for a little while, she was going back to school to get her certification to teach in public school.
Okay.
And my sister thought of me. She said, would you be willing to take that over? And I automatically said yes, really without too much thinking, because I had taught Sunday school since I'd been 16 years old. And I said yes, and I didn't know how that was going to work, because we had just built our house, and our basement wasn't finished, and I that's where I would want to do it, not in our living part. So I prayed again, and I got a call from, at that time I was working for the Census Bureau, and I got a call from my boss saying that they had just found out all the crew leaders, which I was, were eligible to sign up for unemployment. And I said, how can that be? This is a temporary job. And she said, we don't understand it, but go ahead and go put your claim in. And I did. And it was almost exactly what I needed to refinish my basement. So.
Wow. That's
yeah.
awesome.
So I started there at home, and it just grew. I never dreamed it would be what it is today, 32 years later, and I'm still here. And so
It's still growing.
It's still growing. Yep. So everybody says, when are you going to retire? But I really love it, and
So it's rewarding.
oh my, I just, if I have a bad day, or if I'm not feeling great, I mean, I'm in great health. I do have some spinal issues. And as soon as I step in here, all is well. So, and I get to, tell these little ones about the Lord, and hug kids, and love them, and it's the best job in the world.
As you were sharing a little bit there, I couldn't help but think, you said you taught Sunday school for a while. So I kind of seen from an outsider's view of you answering that call, like the Lord leading you on through steps in your life, and you just saying, okay, He's preparing you a little bit there, and then to move forward, and it seems
I didn't know
like
that.
a mountain.
I didn't
No.
Yeah, you're right.
That's your walk of faith. I just noticed that when you were sharing. I thought that was pretty cool. That
Yeah, I never really thought about that.
he was preparing you a little bit with teaching Sunday school, and then
Yeah.
moving on to this.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, I thought when my wife brought this to my attention about talking to you, I couldn't help but think of I think it's Proverbs 22:6. It says, "Train up a child in the way they should go, and when they're old, they won't depart from it." It made me think. Even in my own life, I wandered so far off the beaten path. But because of my upbringing, being brought up by Christian parents, by going to church when I was younger, I knew the truth. I chose to walk away, and by God's mercy, He didn't give up on me. But it was always there. Things that I was taught when I was younger, like hold a door, for someone else, and stuff like that. It was always.
Oh yes.
He was always there.
It's important for parents to do that.
And I guess that's something that I could ask. Is there something that you could share with other parents? You said you've had 3, right?
I have 3.
3,
yeah.
And then you have all these. You have even more kids with all the children you have here. Is there any advice you could give to parents trying to bring godly children up in this day and age?
Well, I would say, don't be too hard on yourself, first of all. I think nowadays, I just always am happy that we didn't have Facebook when I was raising my children, because I think now with, things you see on Facebook, a lot of people post things and maybe other parents see it and they can't live up to that. You know what I'm saying? I just think it makes it really hard for parents nowadays with that. And I would say don't try to do that. Do your best. What you can do, and you love your children, and there's no condemnation if you can't, do all the things and give all the things. Just be who you are, love your kids, and that's the main thing they'll know. Take them to church. It's hard. And you don't have to go to church all dressed up and perfect. If you can't get there on time, get there late. But that's important, I think, to raise your kids up in church, because like you said, they don't forget it. I know my kids will come off with things that they learned when they were little, and so just be faithful to your family, be faithful to your church. Love your husband, love your wife, love your children. Most of all, love God, and that's the main thing. And then the other stuff kind of will follow. That's what I think.
Amen.
Put God first.
So that's some of what you teach here at the preschool, right?
Yes. With our children, we start in the fall. We learn about creation. I do a big mural back here on the board, and we learn, the day-by-day account of creation. And then at Thanksgiving, we we kind of bridge between Thanksgiving and Christmas. We thank God for all He created. Then we learn about what happened in the garden with Satan, because of that's important, I think. If you don't understand that, you don't understand why we need Jesus. If you don't understand, creation. So we learn about Jesus being born, His life, and His death, of course, and then we always open up the chance for these little ones to accept the Lord.
That's awesome.
When they're little. A lot of people say that's not right because they don't really understand yet, but Jesus said, come as a child.
Yeah.
That's childlike faith. I think they do understand.
When the disciples were trying to keep them away, He said,
yeah,
no.
Yeah, I know, exactly. And we don't force them if they don't want to.
Yeah.
Then, it's their choice. And then we end the year with the Ascension. I think that's an important overlooked part too, the Ascension, because without the Ascension, we wouldn't have the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
So, yep, we teach all that, and then we have a monthly newsletter we send out that has the gospel in there somewhere for parents. So, and then these little ones are evangelists. I know years ago, I had a grandmother send me a message on Facebook saying that she and her sister came to know the Lord because their granddaughter had come here, and she would not let up on them, telling them about the Lord. And that's something.
That's awesome.
It gives me goosebumps, and I just think these little ones, are the best evangelists there are. Who can argue with them?
Yeah.
How about it?
I don't know where it's written, but it's just like out of the mouth of babes.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And it made me think, because my daughter attended here, and that's, when she came here, she fell in love with school by coming here. And she would come home and she would be saying scripture she'd learned in class, and it was encouragement to me hearing my daughter.
I mean, I'm so blessed, and I don't say that like boastful or anything, but I'm just saying that because that's the power of our Papa, That's just how He rolls. He uses us, and we're all He has, but we can be powerful through Him.
Amen.
That's one reason why I didn't retire, because I still love it, and I get to. I think if I retired, when would I share the gospel? When would I do that? I don't know. I wouldn't have many opportunities, I don't think. But my life verse, is Acts 20:24. Paul says, "But none of these things move me." When he was talking about the things he was going to face, he said, "None of these things move me, neither do I count my life dear unto myself, but that I might finish my course with joy in the ministry which I've received of the Lord Jesus Christ, to testify the gospel of the grace of God." So.
That's awesome.
I love that verse.
That's encouragement to me. I don't know if you guys are encouraged by it, but I am hearing that.
I kind of forgot we were on there. Yeah. Oh my.
I think that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's been definitely an act of God, because I could never have done this myself, and now I have Mrs. Hiles has joined me 8 years ago. I think it's been 8, yeah. And now we have this brand new classroom, and she's amazing. I mean, I can't say enough good things about her. So when the time does come for me to move on, she's here and she'll continue. And she was a little Joel. She was a student of mine. So, and your wife was.
Yeah.
So.
I forgot about that, actually. Yeah.
Yep. So it's been a wonderful journey.
Is there anything, this is kind of a curveball, I guess, but is there anything you would have done differently?
I can't really think of anything.
Yeah.
Does that sound proud? I hope not. I don't want to sound like, because it's all worked out. Whenever we did move here 8 years ago, I moved out of my home and into this new place. And a lot of people did warn me. They said, you should do that. You should stay here because this might happen or that might happen. And, you don't know. But I just knew it had to be God because of the way it happened. Because Sam came up to me, and a friend of hers at Sunday school, and they hadn't been long out of college, and they said, they would like to start something like this. And, what would I think about that? And I said to them, well, maybe we could just work together. I mean, that just came out like word vomit. I really didn't think about it. And that happened. I mean, just one thing led to another, and I didn't do one thing to make this happen. Mike did the building, and
wow.
So, I think you just have to keep your eye on, what you know is God's will, and don't be swayed. It's hard. That was very hard to not let people influence me, to worry about it, or I'm glad I didn't. So here we are, and can't believe it's been 8 years. So we've met a lot of new people, and we're able to take a lot more students now here. We've been blessed beyond measure. So, I don't think I'd change anything, really.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you guys are expanding. I'm looking at the window. You guys can't see it, but they're building a whole other building right outside.
That's Mike and Sam. They're building a daycare. So,
wow.
Yep. Hopefully it'll be up and running this fall. And if you need daycare services, I think that's one thing we really do need in our area. Help with that. So come on in, and they'll help you out.
So how can somebody find out more about the daycare or about the school?
We have a Facebook page, so
okay.
if you're on Facebook, you can go on there, and there's a link that you can go on and register your little one, or you can just read about us on there. Our phone numbers are on there. You can call.
Okay, is that Little Jules Academy?
Little Jules Academy.
Okay. Little Jules Academy.
Yep, and then get in contact with Sam about the daycare.
Okay.
And I think she already has a list
okay.
up and running, so.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yep, get in there, and
it's a great place.
So.
Well, I want to thank you for agreeing to come on and sharing
I was a
some of
little
your testimony.
nervous, but you made it easy.
God was with you.
Yep, he was.
That was amazing.
I appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you once again.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you guys for tuning in. And subscribe and hit the like button for more content, more videos. And be blessed.